Namaskara. Welcome to Correct Kannada. So this is a presentation on Kannada verbs and tenses, part 1. So typically there are 9 tenses in Kannada. The first three tenses, which is a simple present, simple past, and simple future, is what will be covered in this presentation. And the remaining 6 tenses will be covered in part 2 of the presentation. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, basically in English there are 12 tenses, which is basically three what you call three main tenses and four aspects. That's what it is called. So present, past, and future are the actual tense, and the four are aspects, which means simple aspect, continuous aspect, perfect aspect, and perfect continuous aspect. This is how in English tenses are classified, right? So if you take the present tense, you have four aspects in it. Past tense will have four aspects. Future tense will have four aspects. So if you see simple present, it is I do. Present continuous, I am doing. Present perfect is I have done. So present perfect basically means it's something. It's a work that has been just now completed, or a work which is completed, and the effect of or the result of it is still felt now, right? So that's what present perfect is, right? I have been doing, which means again it's a present perfect continuous. So you started off at a certain time in the past and you're continuing to do now, right? That's what is I have been doing. So these are the four. Similarly, in past you say I did, I was doing, I had done. So here it is have done, this is had done. I had been doing, right? So I started in the past and I was continuing in the past. Everything is in the past, right? So I will do, future. I will do, I will be doing, I have done, I will have been doing, right? So this is how English tenses are classified. Now, if you take the Kannada tenses, it has only 9 tenses, meaning or it recognizes only the 9 of the 12 tenses in English. So here the three kala, basically present, past, future, is still the same, and the three aspects are used. Okay, and you get 9 tenses. So here again the simple present. So what is it that is missing, right? The missing one is this present perfect continuous is actually implemented as present continuous. So there is no difference between present continuous and present perfect continuous, right? So it is one and the same. So you don't differentiate. So one tense from each of the, sorry, one aspect from each of the three tenses are removed, and therefore you have 9 tenses. Okay, verbs and tenses introduction. Okay, some intro on the terms used. Verb is a word that represents an action. So in general, it's a loosely coined term to say any word of action. We just call it as a verb. Verb root is basically the basic form of the verb that prepares it for applying tenses. Okay, so that's what is called as a verb root. So when you remove all the tenses from a verb, what is left is a verb root. Okay, so in Kannada, it is a second person singular imperative mood form, right? Which is called Madu, Odu, Haku, right? So I'll talk more about the second person singular imperative mode in a separate slide. Let's just look at the overview then. Participles. Participles are suffixes added to the verb root to give the sense of time. So the sense of time in tenses, right, comes from the participles. Okay. The tense suffix, next is the png suffix. Okay, it's a unique suffix that gives an information about the person, meaning whether it's a first person, second person, third person. Number, masculine or feminine. Sorry, number is singular or plural. Gender is masculine or feminine. So it tells these three things. That's what the PNG suffix is. P, N, and G. So a tense is basically made up of the verb root, participle, plus the PNG suffix. Okay. So that's what it is. Then participles. Now some participles are very special and they are very powerful on their own, right? meaning when they are not joined with tenses on their own, right? When they are added to verbs, they have a separate meaning. And we have a separate video just talking about concept of participles. Okay, there is this thing called the relative participle, then there is this thing called the verbal participle. So it's actually pretty powerful when you're speaking Kannada. So we have a separate topic for it because it's completely out of scope for this presentation, because this presentation is on tenses, meaning how participles are used in tenses. Okay, now so to learn tenses, we need to understand verb root form, participle form, and the PNG suffix form. And these are the three things that we will individually address in the next slides. Okay, so this is a slide that visually tells how tenses are formed. So you have the verb root and you have the participle, which behaves like a stem of the plant. And then you have the tenses formed after adding the PNG suffix. So the flower is basically your final formed tenses. So this is just to get you visualized. So you have the verb root, participles, and verb root, suffix needed for participle, and the suffix needed for PNG will automatically give you the final result, which is your tense. Okay, next individually we have to start looking at the verb root. Okay, now action words that represent request, suggestion, commands are called imperative mood in grammar. Okay, imperative mood means those words that represent request. If you're requesting a person in front of you to do something, right? Then that type of um, words, right? How you take a verb and convert them to request, suggestion, or commands is called imperative mood. Okay, so you have to take a verb, okay, and then do it. In Kannada, the imperative mood of a verb itself is a verb root. So that's how they have defined. So the verb root, as it is, if you say it, it is as if you are giving a command or a request or a suggestion. Say it's specifically the second person singular imperative mood is the verb root. So this imperative mood also is applied on verbs, and all verbs, as you know, will have person, number, and gender, right? So if you take the second person singular imperative mood of a verb, then you automatically get the verb root. So madu is a verb root, to do. Okay, so when you say madu, it's also a command that you can give to a person in front of you, right, to do a work, right? Now if you want to give the same command to several people, so you have to do the plural of it, which is madi. So madu is a singular version of the imperative mood, second person singular. Madi is a second person plural of the imperative mood. If you want to say this to a person with courtesy, right, meaning with respect, then it is also called Madi, right? So in Kannada, anything that you say in plural to a singular person is kind of respect. For example, if there is a guru, you will call him Gurugalu, right? Even though it's one person, you will say Gurugalu, Swamigalu, Mantrigalu, right? Even though there is only one mantri, one minister, you will say Mantrigalu. So when you make a singular person as plural, it's automatically an indication that you're giving respect to the person. Okay. Now, in Kannada, most verbs end with u, a, e. U is the majority. Okay. A very small percentage of verbs end with a, like ta means to bring, ba means to come, ka means to wait or to protect. Now, these are also converted to u ending, like taru. Ta becomes taru, means to bring. Ba becomes baru, which means to come. Ka becomes kayu, which means to wait or to protect. So you could imagine that verbs are always one of these ending letters. Okay, let's move on. Participle. Okay, the participle suffix used in Kannada for tenses are e, itta, itta, do, and va. Right. Now, participle suffix have three purposes. Okay, first important purpose is to give the sense of time in tenses when they are attached to verbs, and then you have the PNG suffix as part of a tense. They basically provide the sense of time. Okay, this will tell you the sense of time. We'll talk about it very soon. Second thing about participles is these are the two subjects that we cannot cover in this video completely. We need a separate video for the remaining two. They help to join more than one verb in a sentence. Say, for example, you want to represent a sequence of actions. You want to represent two actions happening simultaneously. Then you have to use participles, right? Then similarly, participles are also used for adjectivizing a verb, meaning putting a verb in front of a noun, right? So describing a noun based on the action that the noun is doing. So that is also a function of the participles. Like what I mentioned, they are completely out of scope for this video. This video will go for like 3 hours if I try to explain participles. So we have a separate video about participles. But in this video, we'll talk about the participles as a sense of time, meaning usage in tenses. Okay, madu plus itta. So you see this itta, madutta. So this is the present tense suffix, right? Madu plus itta. This is the present continuous tense. It's doing. Okay. After this, you still have to add the png suffix. We'll talk about that in the next slide. So these are the tense, the building blocks of tenses, how you build a tense. You take the root, add itta, which is a participle suffix, you get the sense of time already, which is present tense. Take madu plus you add itta, meaning dirgha, then you will get the sense of time of doing, continuous tense. So again, madu plus madi, right? This madi is gives you a past tense effect if it's a u ending verb. Now this madi has got nothing to do with the imperative mood madi, so just be very careful about it. So imperative mood where you tell with respect to somebody, madu, you say madi to a person with respect to do a work. That madi is got nothing to do with this madi, which is past tense of a verb, okay, by adding e. So just be careful about it. Okay, of a verb that is non-u ending, meaning it's a or ie ending, a or e ending, bare, for example. Madu is to do, bare is to write. So then you have the participle suffix that you have to add is called baredu. Okay, so it's bare, do, baredu. It also means written, past tense again. Okay, then madu plus va will be maduva, mean will do. It's future tense. So you could see the suffix of the participle suffixes provide the sense of time. Okay, next slide. Next is the png suffix. So the png suffix is going to tell what is the person, number, and gender, masculine, feminine, or that's the purpose of the png suffix. This is the next piece that you have to add in to get your final tense form. So you have to understand one thing, that for there is a unique png suffix for every png set. What do I mean by a png set? A png set is made up of 3 components. It contains a person, which can be any one of this set. It contains a number, which can be any one of these 2. It contains a gender, which can be any one of these 3. So you can form sets, right, by picking, say for example, you take first plural neuter, that is one set. Second singular feminine. Third singular masculine, like that. Like that you can create sets. Now each of this set will have a unique suffix. Okay, so with this you can actually make total nine sets, right? Because yeah, first person and second person, it's a common gender, masculine and feminine. I've given exceptions here. Let's talk about the exceptions since we are already there. Prior to that, let's understand this thing. So nanu is your pronoun, right? Which means I. So there are 9 pronouns. So the first, this is a subject, pronoun subject. Subject always has to match the suffix, right? I mentioned about this even during the pronoun tutorial. So nanu, madu. Madu is your verb. Itta is basically a participle. Ene, right, is your suffix, unique suffix for first person, singular, masculine or feminine. Okay, common. So it becomes madutteni. This is your complete tense for this PNG. Okay, so that's basically what, and it is also saying it's a present tense. So this is your present tense, first person, singular, masculine or feminine. Okay, so in Kannada there are 2 important things that we have to understand. Neuter gender, right, does not have first and second person, since animals and inanimate objects cannot speak to humans. So, or they cannot speak to each other, or at least they cannot speak to each other in human language, and we won't be able to understand. So neuter gender will always be third person, meaning it will be always be a human talking about a neuter gender. That's why it's third person only. Okay, first exception. Second exception, first person and second person does not differentiate between masculine and feminine. Only third person differentiates masculine and feminine, right? Why? See, when you're talking about yourself, that's first person, right? You already know your gender, so you don't have to provide the gender in your words that you say. Right? Nanu maduttene, I'm doing. You are saying those words. So you know what is the gender, and person who is looking at you or talking to you know what's the gender based on your voice, based on your based how you look. They know your gender, so you don't have to mention the gender. Second, why second person should not have. First person, I already gave the justification. Second person, see, you are talking to somebody, right? That's second person. Somebody who you are looking at right now, face to face and talking, or on the phone. You automatically know what is the gender of the person. You don't have to give the gender of the person in your tense that you're talking to that person with. Whatever tense that you're talking, there you don't have to put the gender. There is no meaning there, right? Because that is the gender is not needed. You're just talking one on one to the other person. When you're talking about a third person, meaning somebody who is not here physically in front of you or in front of your who you're talking to, you're talking about somebody, Avanu, Avalu, right? There, since physically that person is not here, then you use the word Avanu and Avalu as separate masculine and feminine because that person is physically not there. So you have to use Avanu Avalu. But Nivu and Ninu, Nivu is second person. So when you say Nivu, Ninu, you are already looking at the person. So you know whether the person is masculine or feminine. There's no need to explicitly differentiate it. So that's the justification of this. I hope it's clear. Okay. So one more emphasis on how tense is formed. The root verb, stem, which is your participle, and then the leaf is basically the png suffix to give you a flower, final flower. So it's like a plant, complete plant, what you call analogy being used here. Okay. Okay, moving on. So you have all this nine, right? For all this nine, the statement, these are all normal png suffixes, each is unique. But when you want to negate, there's only one suffix and that is common for all the nine. Okay. So that's exactly what I'm going to explain in the next slide. So illa and alla are the they replace the png suffix. And this is common for all the 9% number gender set. Okay, ನಾನು ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, right? So this is your negation for ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ. So the tene and the whole thing is removed and you just put illa. Here it's Allah, right? Simple present uses Allah. Okay, so this is how you, and this ನಾನು ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, the ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ keeps remaining the same even if you change this ನಾನು to ನಾವು, ನೀನು, ನೀವು, ಅವನು, ಅವಳು, ಅದು, ಅವರು, ಅದು, ಅವು, everything is still Allah. Okay, now Allah is used for simple present and simple future tense. Illa is used for the remaining 7 tense forms, which are your past, simple past, past continuous, what you call simple present present continuous, present perfect. For all these things it's illa. Only for the simple present and simple future it's Allah. Okay, now closed-ended questions, right? If you have, I'll tell you what is closed-ended question. These also need to be modified. They will use a modified version of illa and Allah. We'll see in the next slide. Okay, statements and question. Alva, right? So this has to be read as alva. Okay, so it's al. The va is the one that is taking the va. So it's alva. Alva. So this is ilva, sorry. Ilva. And this is alva. Alva means isn't it in Kannada. Okay. If you just say alva, it means isn't it. Okay. So this will replace the png suffix to get the effect of negated closed-ended question. I'll talk about what is negated closed-ended. Okay, so ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. Okay, this is a statement. You have done the work. That's what it means. You have done the work. It's a statement. Okay, ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ, and this actually specifically means it's a present perfect tense. Okay, that doesn't matter right now. We are trying to understand what is negation closed-ended question. Okay, ನೀವು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. Now it becomes a question because you're inserting a interrogative pronoun called ಏನು. Now this question is called an open-ended question. Why? Because you have to answer this with at least one sentence, right? ನೀವು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ means what work are you doing? ನಾನು IT ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ. You will say like that. I am working in an IT company. So whenever an interrogative pronoun is added into a statement like this, it's inserted into a statement, it automatically becomes an open-ended question. Why open-ended? because it requires a long answer. Doesn't it? You cannot use a short answer. So general way to remember is whenever interrogative pronoun is present in any statement, you know that it's an open-ended question. The statement has become a question because you added an interrogative pronoun, and it is open-ended because answer needs to be a long-winded answer. Next, ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, right? All you did was you took this ಇದ್ದೀರಿ and changed it to ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, right? ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ here means have you done the work? This is a closed-ended question. Why? Because you just have to answer it with yes or no. ಹೌದು ಇಲ್ಲ. Yes means ಹೌದು in Kannada. No means no, illa, right? So ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, have you done the work? The answer is always a yes or no. And this is called a closed-ended question because I've already said everything about what you need to say. You just need to answer yes or no. Okay, that's why it's called a closed-ended question. So remember this. Now in Kannada, so you could see that closed-ended question will have that iri dragged out to ira, right? And open-ended question will have a interrogative pronoun added into the statement. That's what it is. Okay, now coming to the next step. Here, if I make a statement, and this is called a negation. ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. I'm saying, I'm making a statement. You have not done the work. This is called a negation statement. This is an affirmation statement. Okay, this is what we call as a normal statement. You are affirming that the person has done the work. You have done the work. That's an affirmative statement. This is called a negative statement, right? Because you're negating the person. You're saying you have not done the work. Now, how will you take this and turn it into a question? You will say, ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ? Have you not done the work? Okay, so it's a negated closed-ended question. Got it? So I have not mentioned the negated open-ended question. It will be, ನೀವು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ? It's like, what work have you not done? Right? You have done all the work, it means. ನೀವು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ? So if you just insert ಏನು to this ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, it becomes an open-ended negation statement, right? To say, what work have you not done? You have done all the work, like that. Okay, ನೀವು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. But the closed one is what is not very easy to understand, and that's why I put that. Open one I did not put. So ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ, right? Then here is, have you not done the work? So you just take the ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ and make it ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ. Okay, so this is how you form the negation. Okay, so this is kind of important, but it's easy to remember, right? If you want to make a statement into a question, just drag the last syllable to ra. Madi re means ra, ne means na, like that. Okay, just that's basically what you have to do if you have to change a statement into a question. Okay, now if you want to change a statement into a open-ended question, you have to insert a pronoun, I mean interrogative pronoun. It could be ಏನು, ಯಾಕೆ means why, ಏನು means what, ಯಾಕೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ is when. Any of the pronouns you can insert depending upon your context. That's an open-ended question, right? This is a closed-ended question. You just have to drag the last letter with a. Okay, re means remove the e and then make a ra as ra. If it has got a e, right? Yeah, if it's got a ya, make it ya, like that. Okay, and negation, you just have to remove the png suffix and add illa or alla, depending upon whether you're present, past, or future. And if you want to make a closed-ended negation, you just make alva. Have you not done the work, like that? So if you need, you can come back. I spent almost 5 minutes on this, almost 6 minutes on this slide. So if you need, you can come back to this and look at it. Of course, in the end of the presentation, we have tables showing each of the complete set. So you'll be able to understand much better. Okay, so the complete set now, 9 png suffix plus the 2 negation related. Okay, so here the 2 extra will be ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡು plus alla, ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, simple present, for all, common for all png suffixes. Okay, ನಾನು, ನೀನು, everything will be ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. Then ಮಾಡಲ್ವಾ is negation closed ended. Have you not done? This is model. So model and model. Okay. Table formation. So if you want to form a table, how will it be? So it will be total 9 tenses, right? Which is the 9 tenses are simple present, simple present, present continuous, present perfect. That's three. Again, simple past, past continuous, past perfect. Three more, six. Then simple future, future continuous, future perfect. Nine. So that's your 9 tenses. Then you have your PNG suffix that we just now saw, the nanu, navu, new, plus the negation. So that's 10. Okay. So I've ignored the closed ended because it's just a matter of just adding alba to the, once you know the negation, you just have to take Allah becomes alba. That's why I did not add. So you have total 10 PNG suffix and 9 tenses. You get a total of 90. Okay. So here is what I have said. So ನೀವು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀರಿ, right? ನೀವು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀರಿ, ನೀವು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀರಾ. Closed ended question. ನೀವು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಮಾಡಲ್ವಾ. Negated closed sentence, right? So final table will be 10 PNG rows and 9 tens columns. You'll get 90. So for each verb, you can create such a table, right? In the next page, I'll show you the table structure, how it looks like. Now, I'm planning to upload at least for 25 common verbs, a separate video containing only the tables, so that once you have gone through this, then you will use the tables. Now, when I learned Kannada, I'm still learning Kannada, by the way. I needed the tables only initially, right? And then after that, it was pretty straightforward because the pattern was very easy to follow, right? U ending, you have to do one thing. Non-U ending, you have to do a slightly different thing. That's all. Only these two you need to know. You don't need to do anything else, and you'll straight away form it. You just need some practice of constantly talking about those, the talking in those tenses. I have a method for it, and I call it the drumbeat method. It's like a drum beat. You continuously tell all these tenses, like like how we do our multiplication table, but slightly more interesting. So we can either do it in a group or you can do individually, but by reading you'll get the practice automatically. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is how the complete set will look like. Okay, so you have all the 10 PNG nouns here, including the negation, and you'll have the 9 tenses on your columns. Okay. Simple present, present continuous, present perfect, simple past, past continuous, past perfect, simple future, future continuous. So this is the table that you need. And I promise you, you will need this table only initially. After that, you will be able to form sentences on your own, right? So it's not a big deal. Okay, so you could see, so I do, so do, does only is what you have for simple present. Continuous means am doing, are doing, like that. Then present perfect, have done. It will be like have done, have been, has done. Simple past will be did. Right? Past continuous was doing. Past perfect is had done. So this is have done, this is had done. Future is will do, will be doing, will have done. Okay? So the difference between written and spoken Kannada, we have a table in the end of the end of this presentation to show the difference. There is a slight difference in written and spoken Kannada. Okay. In colloquial spoken Kannada, there is no future tense. Pure future tense is not there. Present tense is used as future tense. So there is only two tenses. One is past tense, other is non-past. Non-past means present and future put together is considered non-past, and present tense itself is used for future. So how do you differentiate present and future? Very simple. You will just use words like tomorrow, later, next year, nale, like that, next week, right? Mundina vara. These words will indicate the future activity. You will, but from context, it is very easy to understand that it's future. Okay. Then literary work, right? Meaning novels, prose, poetry, news readers, government notices. They will use the pure future tense. Okay. So, and importantly, the pure future tense is used when you want to express determination. For example, you are telling somebody, you are very adamant, I will go and do, I will eat ice cream, something like that. Then you will use the pure future tense, even in spoken. Nanu maduve, people will say, Nanu maduve, let's see what you can do to me. I will do and go and do it. In those type of scenarios, you will use the pure future. If not, you will just use present tense, even for future. Okay. Now within present tense, the suffix for the written form and the spoken form differs slightly. We have a table for that. We can just share it. So you need to know the difference, and there is no difference in past tense. Only present tense has difference. Past tense is exactly the same, written and spoken. Okay. Then the requirement is that you have to be comfortable with written and spoken. The reason why the spoken form is slightly deviated is because spoken form they want to speak fast. That's the reason they have made that adjustment, right? Even if you take these those what you call the Purana related TV serials, like Kannada TV serials are there. One, I mean, a lot of dubbed TV serials are there. One is that Radhe Krishna serial is there. There's one more serial which is the Sita Rama, right? Sita's Rama. There's one more serial which is called the Shani, and Mahabharata is also there. All these what you call period related TV serials, right? All our Puranas and Itihasa related TV serials, if you take, I won't call them mythology because they are not myths, they are real, right? So if you take those the Purana and Itihasa related TV serials in Kannada, they will be using the pure form of future tense. They will be using the they will be using the written form of tenses, right? You could see. Whereas if you take the normal TV serials that you see, by the way, TV serials are called Dharavahi. So the normal Dharavahis that you see, they will be using the spoken form. When I say normal TV serials like the Sas Bahu TV serials, so those will all be like the normal spoken Kannada. You can easily see the difference. Okay, so in the end, we have a slide showing the difference. Okay, general rules for tenses. Basically, there are two conjugations. A conjugation means just like how we had, if you had gone through the noun tutorial, just like what we had as a declension in nouns, right? Depending upon the last letter, you have to add one letter like that. In verbs, it is called conjugation. That is, depending upon the last letter, you have to do something different. Okay, so there are only two conjugations in Kannada. One is u ending, other one is non-u ending. That's all. Okay, so if the tense is a present tense or future tense, and if it is u ending, nothing has to be done to the verb root. As it is, a verb root can be used. You just add the png suffix to it. I mean, you add the participle suffix and the png suffix. You're done. Okay, the verb root doesn't have to be touched if it's present or future, right? But if it is past and u ending, you have to change the u to e. Madu will become madi. Nodu will become nodi, like that. Nodi. Then you will have to put the png suffix. Nodi dene, nodi denu, like that. Denu will be your png suffix. Now, if it's a non-u ending verb, then for present and future you have to add u. For past tense, no change. So you could see the no change is that diagonally opposite in present or past. With u ending, present and future will not have any verb root change. Only the participle and the png suffix is added. If it's a non-u ending, the past tense will not have any change. But present tense, you have to add u. For example, bare, bare you. Bare means to write. We'll see many examples. I've given some examples here for you to get the idea of. This is a basic rule that you have to know. Okay? Odu is to read. It's u ending, so odu teni. Straight away, the odu is as it is used, and you have your the png suffix which contains the participle suffix also, right? This one, um, past tense for this. Odu, past tense will be odi denu. So this odu has become odi. That's what I meant by here. Nade, it's non-u ending, right? Nadeyuttene, present tense, therefore I added you. I take the nade and added you. Nadeyuttene. Nade, non-u ending, past tense I want. I use the nade as it is and just add nade denu, suffix, right? Odu, right? Future tense. Oduve, I mentioned already. Present and future will be same rule. Oduvenu, right? This is the pure future tense. Oduvenu. No change in the root. Nade, nadayuvenu, right? Again, there is a add you added. That's what these rules are. Okay. So one more hint to understand the general rules and tenses is the for present tense the governing letter is the. You will see a lot of you will see the middle of that thing. You will see the involved. Okay. See odu tene if it's present. If it's past tense, it will be a the. The middle of the word will have a the. Okay. So that's like the governing thing. That's like the anchor of that word. If it's past tense, you'll have the. If it's future tense, meaning the pure future tense, is va. You could say oduvenu, right? The center will always be va. Okay, I've given. And one more thing that you can remember is if it's present tense, it will always be dirgha. Maduttene, maduttale, like that. It will be like it will be longer form. Whereas in past and future, it will be harsva, right? They say nade denu. It's not nade denu. It's nade denu. Odu venu. All harsva letters will be used. Okay. Dirgha is used only for present tense. So these are the way by which you can remember the pattern. Some more rules. Conjugation is a process of modification that you do to the verb due to its ending letter. This is what I mentioned. What you call as declension in nouns is called conjugation in tenses. This is done in order to pronounce the tense easily. In Kannada, there are two conjugations, u ending and non-u ending. I talked about it. All verbs ending in u do not have the modification. So whatever I mentioned in the table previously, I put it in letters here as bullet points. All verbs ending in u do not have any modification when adding the tense suffix for simple present and simple future, madu plus suffix. All verbs that do not end in u get a u added. It's not ya, just remember it's u added when adding tense suffix. For example, bare will become bareyu when the suffix. All verbs ending in u get modified to e when adding the tense suffix for simple past. So madu will become madi plus suffix. All verbs that do not end in u do not have any modification for past tense. So the bare will be directly bare if it's past tense. So whatever I gave in the table previously is what it is. Yeah. So here if you notice in usage, right, negation does not have a simple present tense. It's either something that is in the past or something in the future. For these only you will negate. I have not done something or I will not do something. Right? You will not say I am not going to do something. That will be a different tense already, right? It's a present continuous tense. I am not going to do, or that's even a future continuous. If you say I'm not going to do it, so you will never be not doing. You will never be doing negation in the present. So if you put madalla, you are actually trying to talk about something in the future. Nanu madalla. Say for example, when somebody calls you out for lunch, right? Your friends are calling you for lunch. Okay, ಬನ್ನಿ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ ಹೋಗೋಣ. They'll say, let's go for lunch. ನಾನು ಬರಲ್ಲ, you will say. ನಾನು ಬರಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ. ನನಗೆ ಹಸಿವೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. I'm not hungry. ನಾನು ಬರಲ್ಲ. So that ಬರಲ್ಲ, right? ಬರು, the ಬರಲ್ಲ means that I am not coming. I shall not come with you. It's like I will not come with you. That's what baralla means. So it's even though it's present tense, it's really not representing a present tense, but it's representing future tense. That's the thing that I want to. Similarly, some friend will ask you, ನಾವು ಊಟ ಮಾಡ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ, ನೀವು ಬರಲ್ವಾ? They're asking, don't you want to come? So that's again, it's like potential, right? They're asking you, are you planning to come? Would you like to come? Like that. ನೀವು ಬರಲ್ವಾ, right? Don't you want to come? So this negation is, there's nothing in present right now. It's always something in the future or the past. Okay, that's the thing that you need to understand. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is what I was saying. So this is bare. This is bare. Just now what I talked about the baru. That is baralva means are you not coming? Baru. That one is a different verb. This is bare. So this is barayalla means did not write, will not write. I am not going to write. That's what nanu barayalla. Okay. This is barayalva, right? Barayalva. Will you not write like that? You're asking somebody. Okay, so this is bare to write and that is baru to come. Okay, don't mix it up. Okay, again, just an emphasis on the dirgha swaras. Just remember that if it's non-u ending and if it's a simple present, you have to add u. Okay. Okay, let's go to simple past. Simple past again, madu will become madi. So past tense will always, if it's a u ending, then the root will change. That's a key point you have to understand. Again, very, very important, not a disclaimer, just to re-clarify, saying that do not mix up this madi with the mood, imperative mood, asking somebody to do some work. Madi, banni, those things are different. It's a completely different concept of grammar. not related to Madi, just that the words are same. There also it's Madi. The imperative mood is Madi. Here, this past tense of Madu is Madi. That is only, they sound the same, mean completely different. Okay, so don't mix it up. So simple past tense, U ending, Madu will become Madi, right? Then this Adu will become Adi, right? Any U ending, it will become, the U will be replaced with E, past tense rule. Okay, then you have to add the suffix Denu for simple present. So I mean for the first person singular. Let's go through it. Nanu ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನು, and in colloquial you just say ಮಾಡಿದೆ. The nu is not required. ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Okay. Then ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದೆವು. In colloquial you will just say ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. Okay, ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. Whereas in colloquial and in written, it will just be madide for first person singular. First person plural, madidevu or madidvi in colloquial. Whatever you see in bracket, it means it's colloquial. If I'm not given in bracket, it just means that colloquial and written are the same. Okay. Neenu madide. So this madide for nanu and neenu are the same. Okay, madide. Okay, ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. Okay. ಅವನು ಮಾಡಿದನು or ಅವನು ಮಾಡಿದ. Okay, the nu is removed. ಅವಳು ಮಾಡಿದಳು, ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿದರು, ಅದು ಮಾಡಿತು. Right? So if you notice, this is the only one, the you will have a tha coming in. See, I said that simple past is always dominated by the in the center, but it's only the neuter gender will have a tha coming in. So that's why it's maditu. So this is a irregular form. So you just have to keep that in mind. Avu ಮಾಡಿದವು. Again, avu comes back to the. So avu ಮಾಡಿದವು. See, after ಮಾಡಿದರು, the same form, it will just say ಮಾಡಿದವು. So you just have to pick up these patterns. Okay, what is the pattern here? The first person is dominated by ve, right? I mean a, sorry, not ve, a. Second person is dominated by e. Third person is dominated by a, and all of them are harsva, right? And the neuter singular is dominated by ta. So very important. While all of them are da based, this one is only one that is ta based. Okay, and then the um, neuter plural, right, is dominated by a, ಮಾಡಿದವು, right? So ಮಾಡಿದೆವು. So first person is a. There we saw ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ. So you'll always notice that A is the root letter for first person. E is the root letter for the second person, and A is the root letter for the third person. So there in simple present it was maduttane, right? Ta. So A was there. Here madidanu. So that's the pattern that you need to pick up. Okay. Very important. Here the negation will be madlilla, right? Nanu madililla. In colloquial, it will become madlilla, madlilla. So there is a lil in the past tense. Whereas there in present tense, we say madalla to say I will not do. I did not do. We're talking about past. So you have to say madlilla. So there is a lil, a role that you are trying to do here. Okay. This lil, right? The lil with a baby letter. So lil la, madlilla. So just remember, don't say madilla. Madilla means have not done. We are going to see it. It's present perfect. When you just say madilla without madi and then you remove this li and just say madi and then la, illa, madilla. Just put la here. That is a present perfect tense, negation of present perfect tense, which means I have not done. But if you want to say something I did not do, simple past, right? Have you done the work? I have not done is one way. If you say I did not do, you will say madlilla. So the li comes in between. Just remember that. Madlilva, did you not do? Okay, madlilva. So remember this subtleness. If it's a pure past tense, you have to have a li in between. Madlil, lil. The lil should be there in between. The sound lil. Whereas if it's just a present perfect, meaning I have not done, if you want to say, then you will just say madilla. The li, this li will not be there. So it will just be madilla. Okay. Yeah. If you go to past, madu has become madi only for a past tense. But for present tense, if you remember, madu will be madu, maduttene, right? So future has taken the madu as it is, right? And then it has taken the suffix from the simple past, but changed the to verb. That's all. So it's a good marriage. So it's a combination of simple present and simple past is your simple future formula. I'm saying the pattern. Got it? Okay, this is what I'm trying to explain. Simple future without u ending. Again, same concept as present tense. Bare u is taken and the suffix from the past tense is taken and replaced with verb. Bare nanu ಬರೆಯುವೆನು. ನಾವು ಬರೆಯುವೆವು. ನೀನು ಬರೆಯುವೆ. ನೀವು ಬರೆಯುವಿರಿ. ಅವನು ಬರೆಯುವನು. ಅವಳು ಬರೆಯುವಳು. ಅವರು ಬರೆಯುವರು. ಅದು ಬರೆಯುವುದು. ಅವು ಬರೆಯುವವು. Okay. From then ಬರೆಯುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. I will not write. ನಾನು ಬರೆಯುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Will you not write? ಬರೆಯುವುದಿಲ್ವಾ? ನೀನು ಬರೆಯುವುದಿಲ್ವಾ? ಬರೆಯುವುದಿಲ್ವಾ? Like that. So that's basic your simple future. Okay. So again, it is dominated by harsva. And remember that it's a marriage between simple present and simple past. So if you just go through the three patterns, you will understand it. Okay, so that's basically what I have given here as pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. Present tense, pattern 1 that you notice that it's always dirgha. Okay, past tense is harsva, future is also harsva, domination. That's the first observation, pattern observation. Second is present tense will always be, the first person will be te, second person will be ti, third person will be ta, te, ti, ta. Governing letter is ta. Whereas past tense will be ye, e, a. But if you notice, the te has got a a inside, right? That's why it's ta plus a is te. Ta plus e is ti. Ta plus a is ta. So this one also has got a e, a inside. So a, e, a is first person for a, second person e, third person a. Right? Nanu maduvenu. Right? This one. Nanu madudenu. Nanu madidenu. Right? For past tense. Nanu madidenu. Right? Neenu madudiya. Right? Neenu madudi. Right? Or we just say Neenu madudiya. Right? Avanu maduvanu. Avanu madidanu. So avanu maduvanu is for future. Avanu madidanu. So you are using a. Governing letter here is the. Governing letter here is the. Governing letter is va. So these are very clear patterns and they are very useful to remember and reproduce for other verbs. Okay. Okay. So this is the summary of the simple present, simple past, simple future, all in one table. So you could see the pattern. So this is Maduttene and this is Madidenu. Right? The Madu becomes Madi here. And then Tene becomes Denu. Similarly, the future tense, if you notice, it takes the Madu from the simple present, and for the suffix, it takes from the past, but changes the there to verb. So you could see that the simple future is a mix of simple present and simple past. So ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ, ಮಾಡಿದೆನು, ಮಾಡುವೆನು, ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇವೆ, ಮಾಡಿದೆವು, ಮಾಡುವೆವು. ನಾನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀಯ, ನೀನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀಯ, ನೀನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀಯೇ, ನೀನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ನೀನು ಮಾಡಿವಿಯೇ. Right? ಮಾಡುವಿಯೇ, ಸಾರಿ, ನೀನು ಮಾಡುವಿಯೇ. ನೀವು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀರಿ, ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದಿರಿ, ನೀವು ಮಾಡುವಿರಿ. ಅವನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನು ಮಾಡಿದನು, ಅವನು ಮಾಡುವನು. ಅವಳು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾಳೆ, ಅವಳು ಮಾಡಿದಳು, ಅವಳು ಮಾಡುವಳು. ಅವರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿದರು, ಅವರು ಮಾಡುವರು. ಅದು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಮಾಡಿತು, ಅದು ಮಾಡುವುದು. ಅವು ಮಾಡುತ್ತವೆ, ಅವು ಮಾಡಿದವು, ಅವು ಮಾಡುವವು. ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, the negation. ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. So this is actually very useful, right? ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. This is the negation, right? ನಾನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ means I'm not going to do or I'm not doing, like that. ನಾನು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ means I did not do. Nanu maduvuddilla, I will not do. Okay. Then madalva means am I not doing? Madalilva, did I not do? Then maduvudilva, are you not going to do? Okay, that's what this is. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, which is the non-u ending. One example of u ending, one example of non-u ending. We'll see the same table. What I'm trying to say here is this thing, this dene, or let's take the simple past. So this denu, right? This enu, this part will not change. What will change is the center part for irregular verbs, which is what I'm going to explain. Right. So present and future don't have any irregularities. The moment we say irregular verb, it means we are talking about the past tense. Okay. So if a verb is irregular, we are talking about the verb is irregular in the past tense. Please remember this. Okay. So out of the 212 irregular verbs, we don't need to remember all 212. We need only 10 because this is what is used in our colloquial normal speech. Okay, I roughly 10, but it could be even less than what I've given in a list in the next page, maybe less than 10, because that's all we need. As and when it comes, we just get to know that it is irregular and move on, right? Rather than remembering all of them. Okay, for these irregular verbs, the PNG suffix does not change. That's what I said, I told just now. It is a past relative participle marker that changes. In other words, simple past tense is made up of the verb root plus a past relative participle. This is the thing that changes. And then the PNG suffix. Okay, so for example, madidenu, right? Madidenu is a past tense, simple past. It's made up of madu plus ida plus enu. This enu is your PNG suffix actually. This is your past relative participle. Okay, if it's non-u ending, so it will be baredenu, right? So bare plus the and enu. So this enu is the same. So it's not going to change for irregular verbs. What is going to change is the red ones, right? The simple past relative participle is the one that is going to change. So in other words, as long as you know the past relative participle of this of any verb, you will automatically be able to put together the tense. Okay, now as mentioned many times, participles by itself is a separate topic and we have a video separately for that. Okay, where we clearly explain what is relative participle, what is verbal participle, everything, because tenses are all made up of that. So past tense rule is to have past relative participle, and this past relative participle is what is going to change for these 112 irregular verbs. Everything else is going to change. Everything else is going to be same. Sorry, the root verb, the PNG suffix, they're all going to be same. For this 212 irregular verbs, only this is not going to follow the formula that we have given, u ending, non-u ending. Okay, so next page I'll introduce that. Okay, so these are some which we need to remember for sure. Others we don't have to remember, as and when it comes, we just take it when we are reading. Right? Iru. Iru is to be, the past relative participle is idda. Okay. It means was. Hogu means go. Hoda is went. Okay. See, so hogu, right? You don't say hogi, right? Hogi is a different meaning. We don't get to that. Let's not get to that. But hoda is how you form the past, simple past. Hodenu, you will say. Okay. We'll see that table soon. Okay. Kodu will become kotu. So it won't be kodi. Kodi denu, no, wrong. You don't say Kodi Danu. You'll just say Kottu. Kodu changing to Kodi for imperative mode, saying, asking, giving a command to somebody. Okay, give this to somebody. Give this to that my friend. Right? Nanna snehidana hattara Kodi. You can say that is you are giving a command. That's imperative mode. That has got nothing to do with the past tense. Excuse me. So Kodu, when it becomes Kodi, it is only for the imperative mode, nothing to do with past tense. In past tense, kodu becomes kottu because it's a irregular verb, even though it's a u ending. This is what I'm trying to drumbeat here. Okay, so kodu becomes kottu or kotta, right? Kotta, right? Kotta means gave. Baru, again u ending. You will not say bari, wrong. It is bandhu. Okay, banda. Okay, banda came. Tinnu, tinda. Eat. Okay, nagu, nakka. See again, who ending? Tinu is also who ending, but you don't do tinu is not tini. No, it's tinda, right? Past relative participle. So tindenu, tindevu, like that it will come. We'll see in the next slides how it looks. Nagu, nakku, nagu, nakka, mare, mareta, forgotten, laughed, like that. So let's look at the next slide. So first we'll take the iru. So it will be nanu, iddenu, right? It's not nan irinu, iridenu, wrong. It's just iddenu, right? I was. Navu iddevu, Ninu iddi, or Ninu idde, Nivu iddiri, Avanu iddanu, Avalu iddalu, Avaru iddaru, Adu ittu, right? Remember this, it becomes the. Avu iddavu, Illa, and Ilva. Illa and Ilva are your negation, not there. Illa. Is it there? Illa. That illa comes from the zero verb. Ilva, is it not there? Okay. So this is the first important, the iru verb is the first important irregular verb. Then hogu and agu. Hogu means go, agu means to become. Both have the same formula. So hoda, hogu will become hoda. So hodenu, right? We saw that the relative participle was hoda. That's what I meant here. So hodenu, hode. Nanu hodenu, nanu hode. Right? Navu hodevu. Neenu hode. Neevu hodiri. Avanu hodanu. Or you can say avanu hoda. Avalu hodalu. Avaru hodaru. Adu hoitu. It's different. That's why I've highlighted. Avu hodavu. Right? Hogalilla did not go. Nanu hogalilla. I did not go. Right? Avanu hogalilla. He did not go. Hogalilva. Hogalilva. Are you not going? Or did you not go? Not are you not going? Sorry. Did you not go? Avanu hogalilva. Did he not go? Like that. Okay, it's common. As you remember, the negation is common for all the pronouns. Okay, so this is for hogu and agu. Okay, next. Kodu becomes kotta, right? So kottenu, nanu kottenu, or you can say nanu kotte. Navu kottevu, ನೀನು ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ, ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರಿ, ಅವನು ಕೊಟ್ಟನು, ಅವಳು ಕೊಟ್ಟಳು, ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು, ಅದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿತು, ಅವು ಕೊಟ್ಟವು. Then ಕೊಡಲೆಲ್ಲ, did not give. Kodalilva, did you not give, or did he not? Avanu Kodalilva, did he not give, like that? Okay. So as you could, these are all the irregular verbs. Even though it's ending, you have to first make it as kotta and then add enu to it. Not kodi denu. No, wrong. It's just kottenu. There is no the at all here, you see. Kottenu. So even hogu becomes hoda, hodenu. Here kotte, right? There is no the. Usually we add the, right? See, if it has to follow the formula that we give, kodu will become kodi, then you'll say kodi denu, right? But that is not the case because it's an irregular verb, and that's what we are trying to explain here. This is baru and taru. Baru means to come, taru means to bring. This is irregular, so you don't do bari denu, wrong. Baru has to be treated as banda. So bandenu. Okay. Nanu bandenu or bande. So one thing that I wanted to say, excuse me, one thing that I wanted to say for past tense, right? For the first person singular, second person singular, and third person singular. For all three, the nu is not compulsory. You can just say nanu bande is good enough. Neenu bande, okay? Avanu banda is good enough. You don't need the nu. It's not compulsory, and most people don't even use it. They'll just say avanu banda, avanu manage banda. They will say like that. Avalu is needed. Bandalu is needed. Okay, only for this optional nu removal is only for first person singular, second person singular, and third person singular, and nothing else. Okay, okay. Nanu bande, navu bandevu, ನೀನು ಬಂದೆ, ನೀವು ಬಂದಿರಿ, ಅವನು ಬಂದ, ಅವಳು ಬಂದಳು, ಅವರು ಬಂದರು, ಅದು ಬಂತು. Okay, this is important. Every time adu is always a mess. It will be different from everybody else. Avu bandavu. Baralilla did not come. Right? Baralilva, did you not come? Or did he not come? Did she not come? Everything is Baralilva. Okay. I just put you just so that in English it will make sense. Okay. Next, thinnu, to eat. So thinnu, if you do it, you apply the normal formula, it will become thinnidenu. Right? That's all wrong. Don't, you cannot apply the formula. So thinnu will becomes thinda. So tindanu. Right? Nanu tinde. ನಾವು ತಿಂದೆವು, ನೀನು ತಿಂದೆ, ನೀವು ತಿಂದಿರಿ, ಅವನು ತಿಂದ, ಅವಳು ತಿಂದಳು, ಅವರು ತಿಂದರು, ಅದು ತಿಂದಿತು, right? ಅದು ತಿಂದಿತು, ಅವು ತಿಂದವು, ತಿನ್ನಲಿಲ್ಲ, ತಿನ್ನಲಿಲ್ಲ means did not eat. ತಿನ್ನಲಿಲ್ವಾ, did you not eat? Did he not eat? All these are ತಿನ್ನಲಿಲ್ವಾ. Okay. Okay, so that was the last slide for part one. So we have completed the simple present tense. So if you have any questions, please. So if you have any questions, please write to correctcannada@gmail.com. This presentation covered simple present, simple past, and simple future. The next part two, will cover the complex tenses, which is basically your continuous tense and perfect tense for simple present and present, past, and future. So part two will cover the remaining, and we are done with tenses after that. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.